how I would apply a strength-based educational program that leads to a high level of engagement. Well, the first thing that I would do, based on the article, is actually do some type of assessment, but obviously take care of, make sure that the child knows that we're doing. And the assessment would be based on their, their five strengths. It's very similar to what we're learning right now in reading the book and understanding our strengths. So, assess, find a baseline, and then after we find that baseline and find the strengths that they have, actually help them and work through with them on what those strengths really mean. And possibly what I would probably do too is actually take a look at the shadow side of what those strengths can produce, which I'm learning a great lesson that's been very helpful to me in my process, and I'm sure it can be helpful for the kids. But in this process of finding a baseline and assessment, then we set goals and try to direct them in a way where they actually set educational goals based on their strength. And I think it's also important to set goals that are attainable, and then set goals that are maybe a little bit loftier, but also goals that can encourage them to explore into other areas of that may not be their strength, that may be helpful for them to develop other strengths in their educational process. Um, and I think the key here too is in this process, I'm sure that for a lot of kids, some of them might be a little bit overwhelmed, but also teach them to come alongside maybe other students that have strengths that they don't have, and they could work collaboratively in a group with them. They can seek outside mentors, like for example, I know that my children have sought some of the people in the community, like neighbors. My daughter is actually a sociologist, so she sought out people in that field and was encouraged to do so by her high school teachers, and she got involved in some camps. Uh, uh, show these kids that there are opportunities like that where they can get some outside advice. And then, of course, work together in a collaborative group within the system of the school that they're in, finding mentors, possibly working with the school counselor. Some schools, like us, we actually have psychologists, speech and language therapists. So occupational therapists. So we kind of covered the whole gambit from the standpoint of working together collaboratively with as a group with the student to help them accomplish their goals. Um, I think that in this actually teaches them some social skills on networking, but hopefully too, what it will do, it'll kind of spark their interest in some areas that might actually be areas that they can learn things about, or be interested, or be motivated, be excited about for a lifetime. Um, Basically, the way I see this is that we're teaching these kids, just like we're being taught, to be self learners, to be able to go into and explore, find out what they like. They can, with direction, go in and read different research articles, um, or just find some interesting articles with guidance on the internet that talk about the things that they like. So it's really all about them taking charge of their own learning process and their education. And I think that as these steps we went through these steps, and I didn't read them the way they were in the book. It's pretty classical, um, except that we're working with a different type of student in special education, because we're assessing. finding a baseline. We're developing individualized goals. A lot of my kids that can actually self-assess. They collaborate. They work together in group projects, and it's all geared towards finding something that they really enjoy, that's based on the strengths that they have, and then working with other people to go forward and develop other strengths that they may not have. Thanks a lot, guys. Um, Thank you.